Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Check 1 2 1 2. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Fired up.
Can't stand a coward. Can't say what I really want to say on air.
It's a family show, buddy. It's a family show.
Yeah. Sometimes if the shoe fits, you got to wear it.
Well, wait till you get to the news this morning, y'all. All systems go. Check 1 2 1 2. Mic sounds nice. Live at 85.
Oh yeah, like butter, baby.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, November 10th, 2023. And it's Friday, so the weekend's coming. It's always a good thing around these parts.
Yeah.
Appreciate you tuning in this morning. 6:30 Club, shout out for getting on the radio channel this morning. Let me know how the mix was. And looks like a lot of people in the chat already. Kimber Snipes giving us a good morning, y'all. Appreciate you.
Hey.
Leia Keeser says, happy Friday, yay, 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 yay. She tried to give us a break this morning. I like it.
Okay, yay.
I don't know. It's thank you for the happy Friday, but a couple things going on. We ain't happy.
Man.
Buddy's fired up. I'm gonna just let y'all know. Let me let y'all know, give y'all a little warning beforehand. Fired up this morning. Pops gives us a good Friday morning and mad love from my First Sky fam. Thanks to my First Sky fam. Thanks, Pops. Appreciate you very much. Tamika Johnson gives us some sunshine on this cold, brisk morning. Vaughn Chapman says present. Right on. Junior Mayor Sanchez says, my mic sounds nice. Check 1. Mic sounds nice. Check 2. Are you ready? So what's up? Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning on Facebook. Appreciate you. Also, Mayor Sanchez, Salt and Pepper, giving us some salt and pepper rhymes this morning. Appreciate that.
My mic sounds nice.
Yes. Miss Erica Phil says, I'm on. The coffee pot is on. Let's get it on. Heard that.
Hey, let's get it on.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody that got up early this morning for the good mornings.
Yeah, top of the morning to you. Hopefully you had a good night's sleep because, rest set you off right. Get enough rest, get your day going right.
I did not get enough. I can tell you that right now. I did not get enough rest last night.
You wake up behind the cue ball, then you got to play catch up rest of the day.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing catch up all weekend. It's heavy weekend for me. It's going off Benson Theater. Of course, we talked about yesterday some of the things happening at Benson Theater. Tonight, I'm definitely going to be hitting this Asbury Film Short concert. A little stuff in the news today, too, about are we going to be a film state here in Nebraska?
Man, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, man. So there's a lot going on. Of course, that's tonight. And then, of course, tomorrow night is the big event over at the Benson Theater, the Bonalto Ball. For those of you who don't know, the building is 100 years old. So, the Benson Theater is a building that was built back in 1923. It was called the Bonalto Theater back then. Mm-hmm. So we're celebrating 100-year anniversary, and first inaugural benefit for Benson Theater is going on tomorrow night. And I like the fact that we got special guests, man. Camille Montoya Moten is going to be singing tomorrow, so it's going to be very, very classy event. Very classy event. So, but it is taking up all the weekend for all of us behind the scenes. It's for real. So we're happy to do it, but man, it's a lot of work. So it's already started. Last night I was up pretty late with work stuff. So
Man, man, yeah, yeah. It kind of burning the midnight oil, if you will.
big time.
But I know you're excited to, for this to kind of be here now.
Yeah. You know how it is. You're excited for the event, but if you're behind the event, you want it to hurry up and be done. So
Right, 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 right.
oh, I
Right,
can't
right,
wait till
right.
this is done.
Yeah, yeah, but get your gowns ready. Come out, celebrate 100 years of the Benson Theater, formerly known as the artist, formerly known as the Bonalto.
There you go. We'll have more on that in the extensive haps that we'll have a little later on today. We also
Yeah,
got
man.
special guests coming in today. We'll see how the
Yeah,
day goes. We got special guests coming in today. Preston Love Jr. will be in the house a little later on. And also, I got a call that brother Ras Takura is in town from
man,
Shomari Huggins. So they should jump on as well a little earlier in the show and talk about the concert and the stuff that's going on here. That is going to be pretty interesting stuff, man. Culture House is always doing the thing. It's
man.
going off. So we'll be talking to those cats. But that's all the business out of the way. Now let's get to Buddy. First of all, Buddy, how you doing? And tell us why you're riled up this morning, if you would.
Personally, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
cool, cool.
Everything is everything. Could have used a couple more winks last night myself, but
Yeah,
I'm all right. I'm all right. But yeah, man, the news, man. Looking at the headlines, sometimes it's good news. Sometimes it's inspiring. Sometimes it's pretty angering. And looking at this Douglas County situation with the sheriff, again getting off. No, I mean no surprise there, but just kind of reading the explanation as to why no charges will be brought against again the Douglas County sheriff who shot the young man. Yeah.
the unarmed young man.
Yes, yes, the unarmed young man. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, right.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Man.
Even the World Herald had to put that on the headline this morning. He's
Right,
going
right.
no charges for the brother, for the officer the off duty sheriff deputy
Man, all I
who
gotta say
shot
is
an unarmed man.
can't stand a coward.
Mm. Yep. Buddy was on. Buddy was fired up this morning, using all kinds of language that we can't use on the show.
Man, and I'm trying to be better, man.
You don't even talk like that, right?
I really don't. You don't hear me talking like that very often.
Yeah, right. That's why I was just like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
I just felt it.
Cowardly activity.
Oh
Cowardly
man,
activity.
man. So yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. In the meantime, between time, yeah, Kimber said, "I want to know what's up with Buddy." Yeah, we got to pull up. Hey,
Man, I mean, we might need to. There's some calls for justice, so we might need to pull up. This might be a boots to the roots type of situation. Holler at Nos again, the community organization behind that, the family calling for justice, the girl who was involved with the situation calling for justice. So yeah, yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that today.
yep. Christy Nor gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Miss Erica Phil said, "Yep." Tony Johnson said, "Prayers to the Holly family. 17 too young of a life."
Not
So
sure.
more violence. We didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, not sure what you're referring to, but yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. Miss Erica Phil says that they were exactly the same size.
Man,
Don't
again,
get him started.
coward,
Get him started, man.
coward.
Ooh,
Trump. I hope Kasim hops on this. Somebody who's really in the streets, who's really doing the work, keeping people safe.
man.
Let's get Kasim on here.
Wait till you hear what this fool. Wait till you hear the explanation, and just the fact that they bought this. Of course they
Of
did.
course. I mean, we all know it's the same. It's the same explanation, man. I was afraid. Coward.
What's that brother's name? Was Khalif? Was it Broward? Um,
Browder. You talking about Brother Khalif Browder? Rest in
yeah.
peace.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace. Yeah, yeah.
What about him?
I know why that made me think of him in his case. There's another case. It's not Khalif. It's not brother Browder. It's another unarmed black youth that got shot that a cop just got off again for. I have to look that up. It just brought me back to that. Mr. Eric says 17-year-olds found shot to death down by the lake. Oh man,
Mm.
man, sorry to hear that.
Man, yeah, we're gonna be talking about gun culture, coward culture, a little bit today.
Yeah, yep. Again, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. Like I said, we have special guests coming in. We are hoping everybody comes in okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The tech be teching.
Man,
So we'll figure it out. Brother Preston Love is supposed to come on today. He's going to talk about a few things that you got going on, some of the leadership things and the voting things that's happening as well.
'tis the season.
Season's firing up, man. There's an article that I pulled where they're already starting to try to threaten, people at the polls and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Election officers getting some mail.
yeah, yeah, man. As a matter of fact, let's do a little run through of some of the stories that we got today
Yeah,
while we got a
okay.
little minute.
Let's go
Yeah.
ahead and dive into it. Especially if everything goes as planned. I'm gonna be jam packed full of guests. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it, man. Of course, again talking about the Omaha World Herald's report on this Douglas County Sheriff's deputy who shot unarmed Omaha man while on duty. Unsurprisingly, won't face charges. So we'll definitely talk about that. Also, as Paul mentioned, gun culture, definitely a heavy conversation after the legislature passed and changed the state's gun laws. And now the Omaha mayor, Gene Stothert, is signing off on the council's gun kit ordinance and a few other gun resolutions. Again, the city trying to scramble to get in line or get aligned with the state's new laws. So we'll definitely be talking about that as well. And also, Paul kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier ago. Nebraska lawmakers are eyeing the film industry for youth retention and economic development. Again, trying to find any way to boost the economy of the state and really talking about all the options. And as a couple of media guys, this is definitely news to our ears. So we'll definitely talk about this as far as the film industry possibly coming to Nebraska. Again, we talk about the correlation between Atlanta, Georgia, and Nebraska and Omaha. And we all know, again, with Tyler Perry in his studio, Atlanta has kind of become the new Black Hollywood. So yeah, we'll see what is the plans for Nebraska? What's the vision for that? So yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Also, speaking of economic development, 50 companies have pledged to create 2,500 jobs and invest $1.5 billion under a new Nebraska Incentive Act. Mutual of Omaha included in that, building its $600 million headquarters downtown. So, yeah, we'll definitely look into this situation. What does that mean for the future of Omaha and specifically North Omaha, right in the heart, in the middle of this situation with the North Omaha Economic Recovery Act? Is that going to come to North Omaha? How many of those 2,500 jobs will be accessible to our community? So, yeah, we'll definitely love to hear your thoughts on that situation. A big shout out to all our native brothers and sisters. The Winnebago tribe is looking to get back 1,600 acres of land taken for a proposed recreation area along the Missouri River. So, anytime we hear about our native brothers and sisters getting their land back,
Man, land back for real.
man, we're in support. We're in support. So we'll definitely talk about that as well. And as Paul mentioned, also election season is upon us. So hopefully get Brother Preston Love Jr. on. Looking forward to that conversation. And the Associated Press is reporting that election officers across the country are have been sent envelopes with fentanyl and other substances. So there's an investigation going on, and we will look into that as well. So a lot of things going on in the news as always. If there's anything happening in your world and your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, feel free to definitely jump into the conversation. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Let us know what's going on, and we'll try to talk about it. In the
Yeah,
meantime, in between time, what's going on?
yeah, man. I appreciate the news about the 17-year-old. Prayers out to the family on that. That's really really sad. It's continuing on, and we need to do something. It's always work to be done here in order to stop some of this violence that's going on here. It's unfortunate. Sean McCarthy in the chat says, "Good morning, first guy team and chat chimers. Good morning,
Hey,
brother McCarthy. Appreciate you coming on."
welcome,
Von Chapman says, "Is Nebraska the old Mississippi of the Midwest? It's the new Mississippi of the Midwest."
man.
Stacey Jean says, "Good morning, first guy, Omaha family and friends. A little cold outside, a little chilly. Yeah, it's a little chilly out this morning." Stacey Jean, I was looking through some old files and on Facebook for Mind and Soul. They put memories up every so often for Mind and Soul, and it's funny, man. I saw your name on there on on the Mind and Soul Facebook page,
Hmm.
telling everybody to come in and check out the show and all that stuff. So I just reminded me about we got some chat chimers in here that go way back with us for real.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, man, been rocking with us going on, man, kind of approaching 10 years. We've been we did started Minus Zone 2017,
17. Yeah,
about
yeah,
4 years away.
yeah. Coming up. Miss Erica Phelps talking about that case there says, "I knew from a jump that he's foul and she is abused. I suggested that here. However, that has nothing to do with this incident. The officer had no clue, and it's not his job to issue punishment. This wasteful. This was foul.
Man.
For real.
Yeah,
Brother
we'll talk about
Sherman, Miss Wanda Lewis says Sherman Wells has been present in supporting the family of the guy who was shot by the deputy sheriff.
it. Good.
Yep. Also, Mama Guy in the chat said, "Good morning,
Hey.
fam. Up early planning Vets Day weekend and preparing for trip back to Atlanta to hang with the little ones." Right on.
Yeah, coming back to be with the babies.
Yeah.
Speaking of Veterans Day, I also want to acknowledge Mayor Sanchez in the chat. He says, happy 248th birthday to the Marine Corps. He
Okay.
says the artist Shaggy is a Marine, and I got attached to his unit after he left and before he was famous. Okay, it's interesting. Out on the line with Shaggy, huh?
Yeah. He was one with it wasn't me. That song, man.
Yeah. Hey, that's Mr. Boombastic, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Mr. Rowe.
Oh man.
Marlon Harrison gives us a good morning, family. Good morning to you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Stacey Jean said, "Yes, I've been a follower since the beginning."
Hey, a real OG. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I from time to time I get these memories about us broadcasting live on late night on the Funktropolis show, man. We're just having too much fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. I used to enjoy it, man. I used to always tell you back then, like, where else can you get funk in Omaha and the real funk? Like you getting phone calls, interviews, history lessons, just getting the vibe of the funk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to do a petition to bring the funk back. Bring the show back. Bring the Funktropolis show back. Got to get it. And we got to get this show back and up off the ground this morning as well. Welcome to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get going.
Let's go.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. A fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be the dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. It's Friday, November 10th, 2023. Got some special guests coming on into the house today. Hopefully, if we can get a hold of them, Preston Love Jr. will be here. Also, Shomari Huggins and Ras Takura will join us a little bit later in the show. And then we'll be having an extensive haps a little later on the show as well, so we can talk about what's happening this weekend. So get your haps ready as well.
Man,
looks like we got new listeners in the chat right now. Chris Ann, I'm gonna butcher your last name, so I'm gonna leave that. But thank you for coming on, Chris Ann. She said, "Good morning, first time watching. Appreciate you very, very much."
Welcome.
On Facebook, welcome. Right. Facebook and YouTube is going off right now, so do us a favor and share the show on your page if you would, and get as many people in the conversation as we can. As everyone well knows here, we're a conversation based show. We consider our chat people in the chat, we call them the chat chimers. We consider them co-hosts, coming onto the show, giving us information, asking good questions, and speaking to us as if we were all face to face speaking with each other. That's how it works around here. So we try to deal with everybody with respect and try to further the conversation and get to some action points when it comes to the conversation that we're having as well. So first and foremost, we try to stay up on what's going on in our neighborhood, stuff that's relevant to us. Sometimes it doesn't always match up to what mainstream news is saying is relevant at the time, which is the reason why we're doing this in the first place. But that's us. That's us trying to be civic leaders, and us, trying to get together with everybody and have a good conversation about what's going on and what we can do about what's going on around here. So, welcome if you're a first time listener. Welcome to all the ghost listeners as well. We call them ghost listeners. They are people that do not come onto the chat and chime in on the chat very very often. They kind of just kick back and check it out, but they also are responsible for sharing the show. They tell a friend, like we always ask.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, I love it when I'm run into people in the street. Say, yeah, I check it out. I'll check it out. I'm a ghost listener. That's what's up. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We love you. Wouldn't be the same without you. So, as Paul mentioned, let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Let's join this conversation.
There you go. Back in the chat real quick. Pop says, I love Shaggy.
All
y'all,
right.
y'all, y'all some Shaggy fans, huh? Mir Sanchez says, Corporal Shaggy to you civilians.
Okay.
Mama Guy says, Stevie is a diehard funk master.
Yeah,
That's what.
man. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Steve, my cousin Steve. He had a he also had a funk show on Mind and Soul.
What, Stevie O's your cousin?
Yeah.
Did I remember that? I think I do remember that now. You were
Yeah,
saying,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I
okay,
mentioned it a
okay.
couple times.
Man, we used to have a good time, man. Stevie O used to come on the Funk Tropolis show with us too. Wanda
Mhm.
says, now I know what P Funk is. Paul Funk. Yep.
Yep.
That's what. It's funny that I spent 9 years in Hawaii and everybody there only knows me as P Funk. It's real funny.
Your name
Bro,
could be Phil for all they know.
right. I did a job one time and this lady wrote me a check, Paul Funk. She really thought the last name was Funk.
That's how funky you are. It's your last name. So funky
Man,
is the last name.
Ron's reviews. That's Mayor Sanchez. He says, hit the like button
Hey,
just so we can make sure that we do that over there on Facebook, especially. I really appreciate that. Melvin Mohammed, assalamu alaikum, family.
man, alaikum salam, brother.
Long time no hear, long time no see, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
your
yeah.
continued support and everything that you do as well for us. And over on Friends of First Sky Omaha, if you guys don't know, that's a group page. A lot of these headlines and things like that, you guys have been putting in there, and we pull from there. A lot of good stories. Shout out to Marianne Williams, who's always putting stuff in. Shout out to Melvin Mohammed that put some things in as well too. So appreciate everybody that continues the conversation over on the Friends of First Sky Omaha group page. That's supposed to be where the conversation lies when we are not live here. So
Yeah, man.
once again, appreciate that, and also appreciate all of our partners, man. Our partners right now we're looking at the Nebraska Examiner that's kind of going off this morning with a lot of stories, a lot of
Man,
things that are relevant to us.
getting down.
Getting down. Let's go ahead and jump into it before we get to our guest. So I'll leave it up to you, buddy. What's top of mind for you?
I mean, I guess we just go ahead and dive into this. Go ahead and knock it
Yeah,
on out, man.
I know what's top of mind for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And plus, I mean, the chat is also responding. Shout out to Miss Erica Felt, letting her thoughts be known. Again, she says, "I knew from the jump that he's foul and she is abused." Talking about the situation again. Um, Saying I suggested that here. However, that has nothing to do with this incident. She says the officer had no clue, and it's not his job to issue punishment. This was foul. So again, for those of you who are not familiar with what we're talking about, late last week, an off-duty officer who was on his way to report for duty ended up shooting a young man after attempting to stop what he believed to be a kidnapping in the middle of the road. According to Omaha World Herald articles, again, no charges will be filed against Deputy Kevin Clark, who again shot 27-year-old Davon Sherman once in the stomach in the early morning hours of October 28th, after Clark witnessed what he believed to be a kidnapping in the middle of the road. Sherman is still in the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. According to Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen, he says, "I'd like to thank the public for being patient with us as we navigated this very complex investigation. It was important that we took time to do it right." Now, the narrative that is laid out in this article is very, very interesting. It starts with kind of going before Officer Clark kind of came across the couple. Apparently, according to the sheriff's office, Sherman was the driver of a Cadillac that was occupied by a few other people. Apparently, they were caught on camera going to the Abelardos in that area. I think that's the one on 120th and Maple. Security camera video at Abelardo's captured the four people in the vehicle passing around apparently a bottle of Hennessy while in the drive-through. And according to the article, Sherman's blood alcohol content was tested at the hospital and was about 2.3%, more than 3 times the legal driving limit. So again, the narrative already lays out that this guy was breaking the law. Apparently, he was drunk driving. And Facebook video, and so the investigation involved both Facebook video or audio from a Facebook Live, and then the audio from the 911 call that Clark initially put out at 4:49 when he passed the intersection where the two individuals were arguing. He reported seeing a moving domestic disturbance, according to the article, in the middle of the street between a man and a woman, later identified as Sherman and his girlfriend Hamadi. Clark initially drove past the disturbance, but again decided to turn around, telling dispatchers that he was going to try to stop him and asked to expedite the car. After this call is made, 2 minutes later, a 911 audio captured Clark exiting his vehicle, and then 10 seconds later, Sherman was shot. In a statement in an interview with investigators, both Hamadi and Sherman denied hearing Clark identify himself as a police officer. However, according to reports, according to this article, it is reported that he did say a police officer stop when he exited the car. But again, it seems like the individuals did not hear him. And the 911 audio apparently becomes muffled from there. But in an enhanced audio that was played at a press conference, a male voice identified as Sherman can be heard challenging the officer to shoot him multiple times. Later in the article, Clark is quoted saying, "A Deputy Clark felt one punch from Sherman would knock him out, and with Sherman's level of aggression and not listening to commands, a Deputy Clark felt that after knocking him out, Sherman would take Clark's gun, use it against Clark, killing him, and then turn it on the female Miss Hamadi and kill her." After Clark found the single shot about 10 seconds after exiting his car, a 911 audio captured him again, identifying himself as an officer and telling everyone to stand back so he can give medical attention. So again, all of this is being laid out to justify the young man being shot in the stomach. And I have some issues with this. I have a lot of issues with this. First of all, um, can we all just agree and acknowledge that danger and fear is natural and intrinsic to the job of policing?
Hmm.
Why is fear, like, you know, you're going to be in dangerous situations? Why is fear being used as justification for shooting people? First of all, you know that. You know this is a dangerous job. You know that you're going to do things that require you to fear for your life. Why is shooting an unarmed person the answer? First of all. Second of all, on top of that, again, why is shooting an unarmed person the answer? Why is your gun the answer? Even if you are afraid of getting beat up because obviously you didn't pass your hand-to-hand combat training. Coward. So if you're so afraid of getting beat up, why not use a baton, a taser, mace, something else that's not going to cause this man to have to go to the hospital and possibly lose his life? I've been through gun training. There is no way to shoot somebody and not potentially kill them. You can die from a shot in the leg.
Not that he was aiming for anybody's leg or any.
But I'm saying that's usually, you know, when people have conversations like, why didn't he shoot him in the leg? Why didn't he shoot him somewhere? Like, shooting somebody will potentially kill them no matter where you shoot them.
I actually have some pretty interesting information about that particular thing. It doesn't have anything to do with this case, so I'll come back to it. But yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to diminish your point. Your point is why get out and 10 seconds later shoot, and then your excuse is he was big and aggressive. He might have hit me and took my gun.
So should you have a gun if it can be so easily taken?
By unarmed dude, by,
Like, how incompetent are
by
you?
a drunk aggressive dude.
Should you really have a gun? Should you really be on the streets if that's how you think? First of all.
And apparently, because there's no charges, that means the local government powers that be agree that's
Yeah.
he was justified.
It's ridiculous. It's BS is what it is. It's
Let me jump
BS.
into the chat.
Please.
Sherman Wells in the chat. Good morning. Says Deputy Clark got out of his car with a firearm and shot him in 10 seconds. Again, treating us like we are nothing but property. You are in plain clothes. Your commands mean nothing. They think we supposed to bow down to him because he's a white man with a gun.
Yep.
Even if they did hear him say that, he's jumping out of his car in plain clothes, pulling a gun. Also, Miss Erica Phelps says the press conference stating they don't want to bias anyone, so they won't discuss his gang affiliation. Wow, I didn't see the press conference. He did though by saying that it knows it. Yeah, in that slick, in that slick.
Oh yeah,
We don't want to bias anyone by talking about his gang affiliation. So we won't talk about that.
as if reporting that he was intoxicated and drunk
I
driving
mean,
also justifies him being shot.
the thing is that the thing is that's all that backwards justification stuff that makes me the maddest. The
Yeah.
sheriff's deputy didn't know, didn't see no Hennessy. The sheriff's deputy had to assess the situation. Probably saw that he was drunk. Probably saw he was aggressive. But yeah, you get out and somebody and some white dude with a gun. You're supposed to obey his commands in 10 seconds or get shot. I mean, think about it from the perspective of the person that got shot. Even the woman who earlier in the chat, Miss Erica Felt was talking about. She says I only mentioned it in the beginning because you can't really listen to her account on what happened. Many keep using her statement as support for the victim, but she's his victim. So that's something to take into consideration as well. But the fact of the matter is, even she said this white man got out the car and didn't say he was police, or you know what I'm saying? Like they calling
Hmm.
for justice. She is also calling for justice along with everybody else. Um,
Yeah. And also, according to the article, according to the report, according to them following their movements before this interaction, um, the dude got out of the car and tried to walk away, and then she followed him.
mm. I mean, like I said, all of these things, we're really it's about what the sheriff's deputy observed, and whatever that he observed made him decide to do what he did, and then and it got justified. The powers that be, said no charges. You were okay with doing it how you did it. Rose Review says the coward is being protected by a policy that doesn't allow for non-lethal means without backup. Change that policy. What about the backup?
Please,
What about the backup?
they never came.
So we just marching or meeting this time? Good question, Tony Johnson. Miss Erica Phelps says that they said he didn't have any other tools because he was on the way to work. That's why he should have waited for on-duty officers. There was no immediate threat making him get out of the car. He went back to the guy's
Or
back.
if you're really like, if you don't have any non-lethals, if you're really concerned about this man kidnapping this woman, maybe follow them. Maybe continue to observe them until backup comes. Like, again, my whole point is, why is shooting somebody your first response? Like 10 seconds later, 10 seconds. Why is shooting somebody always the first response?
And it's always based on fear of the one. It's always based on here's this black man who you think is going to overpower you and take your gun, which is absurd. I mean, any situation you're ever in, that's probably a scenario. So why and you've assessed in a couple minutes that he's so aggressive and he won't stop, he won't do what I say. He's gonna end up overpowering me and taking my gun and then shooting him and shooting the woman and taking all this grandiose
Man,
slippery slope mess.
that's another thing. Like, this racial undertones. Like you just said it. The racial undertones. It goes back to this whole fear that we're going to revolt from being slaves. Like we're still angry about that, and we're still just going to burn this whole thing down. Yes, we're still angry about it, but we want justice.
I mean, like you said before the show, it's like we want if we want to be left alone. Like if we want to if everybody was gonna go around shooting cops, they'd have been getting shot.
They would have been getting put down. That's not what this
If we was
is.
going,
That's not what we want. We want peace. And as a peace officer, how are you keeping the peace? How are you de-escalating? What are you doing? You're just out shooting people. What makes you any different than the thugs outside?
it's gang, police is a gang. They say it. That's what they say. Pops in the chat says the Super Chicken theme song. You knew this job was dangerous when you took it. You talking about the old cartoon Super Chicken that was in the theme song? Man, that's
I
that's
mean, but
prophetic.
seriously, going back to Mayor Sanchez's point about the policy, like when can we remove just plain fear?
Yeah, this
Like, oh, I was afraid he was gonna knock
no,
me out.
you always gonna be afraid. It's the
It's a part of the
yeah,
job.
it's the situation to me is that that's an excuse for killing unarmed people. I was
Exactly.
afraid. You're afraid every time you stop somebody. You got to be afraid in that job all the time. So
Here's the thing though. I have friends that I've grown up with that got killed. I've had shoot the house that I lived in. I wasn't there at the time, but a house that I used to live in got shot up. I grew up in areas around gang members. I grew up in the You don't think I'm afraid? You don't think I have reason to fear for my life? I'm not just going around killing people.
well, you're also not putting yourself in a you also didn't take a job where you're supposed to be policing people, where you're supposed to be mastering over people. Which I already tell you, my whole problem with the whole idea of policing people in the first place. We need people to protect each other. We need people to protect our families, but protecting and policing, it seems to be two different things when it comes to our
Two different
neighborhoods.
things.
Sherman Wells says they agreed on charges before all the evidence was collected. Yeah,
Oh
remember
yeah.
Don Klein was on there talking about it looks justified to me, but we'll investigate. Already tainting the ideas.
Yeah.
Marianne Williams says, "Good morning. Good morning to you too." She's in the UK. Only certain types of police jobs allow them to carry a gun, and rookies aren't allowed to for some time. Different climate in the UK, of course, but yeah, there's different policing systems and tactics around the world to be looking at for sure. Couldn't happen here because of the gun culture.
Man.
Also, Marlon Harrison says white people just can't mind their own business. That's part of it too. I mean, you know, it's really interesting how that happens. It's really interesting because like I get so mad at just the whole situation sometimes when it comes to this idea of policing other human beings. I'm like, why do you think you have to be somebody's parent? Like mind your business sometimes. I mean, it's hard to apply that to police, but like that's what I'm saying. Like Sherman Wells in the chat says that she is not his victim. I spoke and seen her the next day. Not a scratch or bruise. Black people's arguments is always laid out as fighting. If you don't know us, then you will think that. Yeah, that was another thing that we mentioned when we talked about this story the other day. That there's black folks arguing always looks violent to white folks. Von Chapman says, "Why are police officers only afraid when it comes to engaging black folk?" Exactly. How many white folks have been shot during white domestic violence incidents? Is justice or just us? Sherman Wells says, "I will have a live later on today. Check out Brother Wells' page and get to his live." Tanai Patterson's license to kill. Right? We talk about this qualified immunity, or what's the name of that what's that phrase?
Yeah, that's it. Qualified immunity.
Yeah, where they get
The shield.
yeah. Sherman Wells says they have training to de-escalate. It's just not used with black people. I don't even know. I question the training. I think they're training them to shoot
Man.
first.
Like I understand the point of him being off duty and not having his mace and things like that. But I mean, hand to hand
Call
combat
for backup, bro. First of all, call for backup. Isn't that what you do?
and then wait for backup to come. Don't just call them and then jump in.
Josh Chase says there are 20 professions more dangerous than police. Can delivery drivers get away with killing people because they were afraid of handing over the pizza? Sue Kessler Hagen in the chat. Good morning. Says also replying to Sherman. I understand what you're saying, but please understand that abuse doesn't always include scratches and bruises. I don't know her, so I don't know if he abused her. Some of the most dangerous abuse is mental and financial because no one can see that on one's body. Very true, but again, the idea here is that the sheriff's deputy didn't know anything about this individual. He didn't know any of this stuff. They're doing all this back blaming situation, which really burns me up when they do that. Oh, we're not going to talk about his gang affiliation. Oh, we're not going to. There's some domestic abuse in his past. They've already been on press conferences saying this stuff. They've already judged him without having a trial on a lot of these things
Yeah.
and putting it out there for that. And
Yeah. I mean,
that and the whole thing is that that's not any information the sheriff's deputy had when he jumped out. Sean McCarthy, Florida's stand your ground law is rooted in fear. If you can prove that you believed you or another person was in imminent danger of bodily harm or death, the two key words are "you believed," which can justify
Mhm.
almost everything.
Yep.
Zimmerman followed Trayvon Martin around before he shot him, talking about he was in fear for his life.
Like if you're so afraid, run and hide. Ain't that what people who are fearful actually do?
Man, brother Knight,
If you're so if the, like that's my whole thing. Like we can continue to talk about this, continue to speculate and go in circles and circles, but the fact remains that this young man should not have, even if he was doing something, and he will be charged. Actually, apparently he violated probation, or yeah, he violated probation as a result of this incident of arguing with his girlfriend. Um, and after he's released from the hospital, he will be apparently booked and going back to jail for violating his probation for domestic violence. But again, just why does somebody have to end up shot?
uh,
Definitely somebody who's unarmed.
brother Knight this morning says most cops today have guns that require the owner to wear a ring. If the gun gets taken, it won't fire unless the person with the gun is wearing the ring.
Hmm.
This is the first time I heard. I mean, I've heard about that technology coming. I don't know if we have it here. But if he's off duty and a sheriff, he might not have that. This is, also police officers get different tech than sheriffs and sheriff's deputies do. So I'm not really sure if that's the case either. But it, like I said, it's interesting to just. You're right. I mean, we're responding to this justification. I think he might overpower me and take my gun. Stand back, bro. I don't know. Miss Erica Feld is saying he is an abuser. That's irrelevant to the shooting, but very relevant to how men discussing this deal with and talk about her. Yeah, we definitely got that point. But again, like you said, this is not relevant to this case because the sheriff's deputy did not have any information on that. He's seeing that there's an argument going on, and we can't read his mind. We don't know what he's perceiving, what's going on. If you feel like you're a law enforcement officer, you see a dude hollering at a female in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can see him wanting to jump out and break that up. But again, too many ways to break up a situation like that without somebody getting shot in the stomach, and it doesn't happen in other circumstances.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And again, if he's an abuser, that's not the point. The point is he should have been shot.
Yeah, I
He
mean
should
that's
not
not
have been shot.
right. Nothing, and of course, like it's nobody's condoning the way that he acted with her, and if he's an abuser, right? But that's not there's gonna be people that are gonna have to get pulled aside for acting out and doing stuff like abusing people. Yes, but I'm sorry. If a off duty officer has shot now a unarmed individual, and their justification for that, not that the guy charged him with his weapon. He hollered, "Go on and shoot me then." You already know what that is. Well, go on and shoot me then. You gonna pull your gun out? Go on
So
and shoot me.
that was my point too. Adding mental health to this. If somebody is walking towards you, unarmed, begging you to shoot them, that's obviously a mental health crisis.
Was he doing that? Was he walking
That's
towards
that's
him
what
even?
the Omaha World Herald report says. That's why Officer Clark was afraid that he was going to get punched one time and knocked out.
I,
Like
I
he
didn't
can't
hear the
block.
I didn't hear the part that he said he was walking towards him with it. I say he heard
Yeah.
him repeatedly say that he was walking towards him.
According to the Omaha World Herald article, the 911 becomes increasingly muffled. So keep that in mind. It does become muffled because apparently Clark's phone remained connected to his car's Bluetooth after he exited the car and approached the gentleman. But in enhanced audio, so apparently they enhanced the audio and played at the press conference. A male voice, who was later identified as Sherman, can be heard saying, "Shoot me," multiple times. And again, if an unarmed person is at, like, suicide by police is a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if that's what happened, but yeah, I understand what you mean.
My point is, if this is what they're saying, this is what they're using as justification. And my point is, if you're encountering a mental health crisis, isn't there cahoots? Shouldn't you wait on backup? Like, shouldn't you?
Miss Erica
If
Pell says the officer did not know. Even if the officer knew him personally, officers don't get to issue punishment. I don't. They're not framing it this way. They're not framing it as that he this was that they framing it that he was afraid for his safety, and so he had to shoot him. A drunk black man you're already afraid of because you think he's bigger than you, coming towards you saying shoot me. Then um, did it have to result in him shooting him in the stomach? Could he just backed off, waited for the backup? I mean, any. I mean, there's tons of different things that can happen.
wait for
And
backup.
no, it's easiest to look, put yourself in the cop's shoes. Easiest thing to do is to say, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you to stand down, stand there. You better stand down and then go ahead. And then he doesn't stand down, and he's charging you. You're gonna shoot him. It's just the fact that this. It's always a shoot first scenario though when it comes to us.
Yeah, and furthermore, if you know backup is, again, we can continue to speculate, but if you know backup is on the way, like to what extent are officers expected to retreat?
Very good question.
Like, if again, like you said, put yourself in the officer's shoes.
They would
If
never.
I
They would never retreat.
if I encounter a domestic violence situation and then I intervene and the man shifts his focus from the woman that I'm trying to protect to me, I would think that okay, his focus is on me. I can de-escalate there. I don't have to shoot him. Let me
Yeah.
keep backing up until he actually tries to attack me. Then yeah, maybe shoot him. Maybe defend yourself if that's what you feel.
Yeah, at this point now, it's apparent to me that all we can really do is speculate,
Yep.
because we don't have the whole story from, you know what I'm saying. What we're getting more of the story because like how Sherman Wells in the chat, he's there with the family as well, with the guy who got shot, and we also know some of the statements that the girlfriend said too. So you know what I'm saying, like there's also that's also that part of it. Their word against the officer's word. They're always going to take this officer's word. They also are always going to allow officer to shoot somebody if he's scared for his own safety. And just like that stand your ground law, we don't have that stand your ground law here, but it's always a shoot first scenario when it comes to certain groups of people. That's all we can really say. That we don't know exactly what happened and what whether or not what exactly the situation was, but we got enough information from the victims in this case to question why this off-duty sheriff's deputy decided to shoot first in 10 seconds of jumping out of his car.
And that's 10 seconds. Like, what time
Yeah,
are you giving
yeah.
backup to come?
Let's move
And
on from that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Scott
can keep
Patterson
going.
said violence comes out in the wash. Folks got to be mindful how they act in public. It's he say she say, and then the benefit of the doubt will always be given to the person perceived to be on the defensive, especially when white.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well put. Well put.
Yep. I'm seeing that we got a special guest in the house, kind of hanging in the wings. I'm not seeing them in the camera though, so I'm putting it out there. If our guest in the wings can hear us, if you're ready, we can go ahead and bring you on. Love to love to get the interview started. But in the meantime, between time, I appreciate everybody who is jumped in and is talking about this. There's something that we got to talk about. Something we got to work out. As you can see, there's a lot of high emotions behind this, and for good reason. There's a lot of fear about doing anything out in public when it comes being alive and being black in public and living while black is always a fear that you're gonna get shot for doing things that everybody else on earth does. And sometimes that's right and something that's wrong, but when it comes to issuing justice, it seems to be different for our group, for black folks. It seems to be different kinds of justice. Sherman Wells in the chat says the news refused to play exactly what she said in order to paint the police narrative. The news won't cover anything that will make their police look bad. I will say that the headline at Omaha World Herald was like surprising to me that they put in the headline that the man was an unarmed man. And then they proceeded, they went along to tell the story about some of the things that happened. It was a little bit of a decent unbiased piece that happened this time around. But you're right; it's different from the network news and other things too. So, and they could have been more thorough when it came to exactly what the woman said.
Mm-hmm.
You're right though. I mean, we're the whole reason why we're doing what we're doing as far as the news is concerned here is because we were tired of mainstream media. The story is always the police were justified and police have such a tough job and police are fear for their life because all this wild behavior out here in the black community and everything else. It's always the narrative. Very true. But this time it was at least in the World Herald, it was like a little bit like shot unarmed man got shot. That was interesting. They used the word unarmed in the headline. So, this is people gonna get riled up about this for a lot of different reasons. Miss Erica Phelps says there was only 3 seconds from the time they say he yelled police officer in the time he shot.
So again, we can go in circles, but the young man should not have been shot.
Yeah.
And furthermore, we know no criminal to kind of answer the Tony Johnson question earlier about what we gonna do about it. I'm sure we'd love to hear, what Brother Sherman Wells, who apparently has already been speaking to the family and working closely with that. But I would love to see civil charges brought
Mm. Matter of fact,
soon.
Sherman Wells says people getting the story from the news and not from here. Jobina Lloyd is specifically told them on the second interview. She told y'all the whole story. You only showed 5 seconds of what she said. We've heard
There you
this
go.
before.
Yep.
We've been talking about it in the content creators camp a few classes. We've heard that before. What can they what do the news what is the news exactly going to report about these things? They'll take a whole interview and cut it down to some sound bites, and everybody always complains about that a lot of what they say got cut off. Mama Guy said police technology tools and training are advanced, but police get away with the same archive art. What do you say, Archel? See, on justifications. Why? What's the word there? I'm missing.
Archaic.
Probably archaic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing. It's just like let's get the whole story here. This affects our community in a bigger way. So let's not just reduce everything down to sound bites. Let's actually, talk about it. So we're always open to have anybody from the situation on to have a bigger discussion on it, and and try to get some more answers here.
Yeah.
Sarah Fell says yes, civil suits can bring change. There's a different standard to find guilt in them.
Yep. Charge them civilly.
Yeah.
Sue them. Hit them pockets. And Vaughn Chapman is asking where are the black elected officials. We spoke to Senator McKinney on Monday, who's been kind of working closely and looking at statements and things like that. That he actually said he spoke to Miss Hamadi, who was involved in the situation as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Still waiting on our special guest to come on in. I'm not sure if you can. Oh, looks like there's some adjustment going on here. Okay, you good? You ready? You guys ready over there? Can you hear us? I don't know if you got your sound on the show there. Okay, nothing in the camera yet. So we're still waiting on Brother Shomari, Brother Ras Takura to come on the show. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, Kimber Snipes in the chat says there were times when I was running where I would repeat the same answer for every question the news asked me just to be sure what wanted to be said and what was said, what wanted to be said. I know what you're saying. Yeah, even though it didn't make sense, it's interesting to do that every time you get an interview on something, say the same thing and see which stuff gets cut out and so on and so forth. That's really interesting. Yeah. Okay. It looks like we got the brothers in the frame now, so we're gonna go ahead and bring them in, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we got Brother Ras Takura with us right now. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, bro? Looks like we don't have your mic on there. We can't hear you. You can hear us. See if you got your on the settings there. See if your mic is up.
Yes, I.
There he goes.
Peace.
Yes, I.
Hey, long
That's
time no
it.
see, brother. How
Yeah,
you
man.
doing?
It's been a while.
Yeah, man,
Peace.
I'm
Why
good, man.
going?
I'm great. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Big ups. So you're in the city?
Yes, I.
All right. Welcome
Yes,
back.
I.
Welcome back.
I'm in, you know?
Yes. So for those who don't know, who aren't familiar, Brother Ras Takura is a Jamaican poet, musician, and organizer, and he's been working closely with the Omaha community to fight this food war.
Definitely,
Definitely, again, yes, yes, yes.
definitely.
Fighting the food war, still going on, trying to again change these food deserts out here. Man, first of all, what you been up to, man? How's it going?
How's life,
Well,
brother?
we've been
Yeah,
traveling and doing the work and, putting in the energy and uplifting and educating the people, because this is what is important more now at this time than any time before. The cry of food security and the need for clean organic food has always been the cry. And, we as farmers and as artists and poets, we have to always motivate and energize the people, and also show them a direction in where to step. So we hold that torch, we hold that light, we hold that fire, to inspire and educate the people, and, continue to let them know that, we're in the era of real food security. And if we
hmm
never believe it before COVID and all these times, now we kind of see it more in our practical eyes, and we remain with that information and that education and that knowledge that we are in the time of the food war. And it's only through a collective effort of saving seeds and practice natural agriculture is the only way that we can really revitalize that old culture of farming and food security. You know?
man.
Yeah, man.
And
Beautiful, beautiful.
you
Yeah,
still
my
you
son's actually been bringing seeds home from school. Like he brought some orange seeds. Like, Dad, can I plant
Def-
them? And I'm like, yes,
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 I.
yes, yes, yeah, man. And for those of you who
Kaka.
aren't familiar, or who just don't know, like, look at what Brother Willie Hamilton is doing. Look at Heart Ministry Center as far as how long those pantry lines is, and that
Right?
that will kind of give you a tip as to where people are as far as securing food. Just getting food, not even talking. No shade to Heart Ministry, Willie Hamilton is good food that they're getting. But just plain food. We're not
Def-
even talking about the nutritional value of it. We're just talking about food. People
to-
struggling to get that, and then add on top of that food with nutritional value. It's a
yeah.
struggle. Can you kind of speak to what your perspective? What is the food war?
What is food war? 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we never have an idea of what a GMO seed is, what a GMO crop is. I mean, genetically modified organism. We never see it so popular where people want to control food and keep others in starvation. Because when I check it out, it is very easy to solve the world of poverty and nutritional security or food security. But it's like people would rather to invest their money in war, than into solving the problem of hunger. It is harder to start a war and maintain a war, right, than to solve the problem of hunger, because solving the problem of hunger is simple, putting back the seeds into the soil, because the soil is already here and is fertile and ready to grow food. It's just that man now put them energy in different direction. See, so the problem of solving food insecurity is easy. It's natural. It's something that can happen, like, right? But the world is more concerned with, tricking the people, robbing the people, giving the people substandard food, or subsidized food that is not healthy and not conscious for them. And also the people lack food knowledge, they lack food education,
mm,
so their food choices are very poor. See,
Mm-hmm.
so food war now, as the institution that Ras Takura create through the poetry and the interaction, is a kind of institution we come for kind of edify the people more a little bit about food security and about growing your own food and about saving your own seeds, and practice seeds exchange within the human community,
Mm,
because we're losing a lot of the original strains that we used to have some years ago to produce food, and we only get now into what is known as GMO food or fast food or food that is not real. We're in we're in an era of fake food. It's what I'm
mm,
saying. Fake food become very
mm-hmm.
popular. It's what I'm saying. And yet still you have the real food that is in the farm and the farm producing by the farmers in different countries or different regions of the country. And that food is not reaching the people, because the people who are supposed to mobilize the food, they're more mobilizing war. Is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying.
right.
So it's like the food war is really a consciousness rising, to rise the consciousness of our people and let us know that we are in a consistent struggle for clean, healthy food. We're in that struggle. But everyone will not recognize it because, every time a person wants to eat, they can go to the supermarket and purchase the food, but they're not thinking about where the food is coming from and how healthy is this food, and how long are we going to be able to do this, is what I'm saying. So food security is an educational institution, and we call it food war, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
Yeah, that is
I
what it
have. I was thinking about this brother 19 Keys that we watch from
Man.
time to time, and we talk a lot about artificial intelligence in the era of artificial intelligence. He says we have to recognize we're in the era of artificial food, artificial living right
right.
now, and where is the nutritional value in these things? Love that. I also want to just make a comment about how you fight that food war. You're an artist. We really relate to you because we're artists as well. We say artists are the best people to fight these kinds of wars for a lot of different reasons. Tell me about your techniques as an artist, how you fight the food war.
All right, my technique as an artist, one of the the greatest thing that I would say I do up to this day is to establish a festival in Jamaica, which is this poem words and agro festival, and we use this festival as a catalyst to invite farmers and people to bring their natural seeds and trade natural seeds, heirloom seeds exchange, right? Because through the exchange of natural traditional seeds, we can we can absolutely forget about the use of GMO, right? We can
Mm-hmm.
put away the use of GMO and we can use our natural traditional seeds where farmers, natural farmers, traditional farmers have their seeds in their possession. But with creating a platform like the festival that we do in Jamaica now, it gives us a catalyst, it gives us a platform to take the seeds and share the seeds and bring them in the community. Because scientifically, what they taught us about agriculture and pollination, which is the means by which plants carry out their sexual reproduction. They said in pollination is either bird pollination, wind pollination, or human pollination. That means to say it's either a bird going to carry the seed, or a human going to carry the seed, or an animal going to carry the seed. So what Ras Takura is advocating for through the food war banner is a human pollination, seeing where human taking the seeds and actually disperse them in different parts of the world and different parts of the society. And we're talking about clean seeds, we're talking about organic seeds, we're talking about third generation seeds, right? We're not talking about GMO seeds, right? Because GMO seeds only give you one crop, right? But traditional seeds give you continuous crops.
Right.
What I'm saying?
We
It's
have
that
we. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's that planned obsolescence, like just everything from phones to food to cars to houses, like everything is built for you to have to buy it again.
Right. Even food,
No
even
freedom,
even seeds.
no freedom.
I wanted to make mention that I was told that Nebraska has some of the most fertile ground in the world as well, which
Mm.
is the reason why we have a lot of agriculture here. You do the food, you do the concert, you bring it to the people, bring the farmers together when you do the concerts over in Jamaica. But you also have been doing concerts here in Nebraska
Definitely.
with Shomari and those guys for the same reason, right?
Right. And in that breath, as you mentioned it, tonight we'll be doing a performance tonight with a live band at the culture, the culture
The culture
house.
house.
Culture
Yep.
Okay.
house here in Omaha. Gates open at what 6:30, and we'll be there from that time and until the end of the show. So inviting people to come and see a live performance tonight at the culture house, right? And also on Sunday at the Malcolm X Foundation, we'll be screening the cross pollination film documentary discussion, which is a film documentary that was created by Mr. Shomari Huggins and his team, to kind of create a dialogue, create a dialogue between the agricultural practitioners in Jamaica and agricultural practitioners here in
Mm.
Omaha. So it's a screening of that documentary that is going to kind of highlight certain agricultural aspect of life that people need to know. So we're inviting people to come out this evening at the Culture House and also on Sunday at the Malcolm X Foundation, right, on Evans Street, and
Love it, love it.
the documentary will be screening there, and tonight is a live performance. So we're inviting the people, come out, support the energy, support the vibration. People can also follow Ras Takura on Instagram. My Instagram is Ras Takura1, which is Rastakura1. And that's the same thing for TikTok. I'm also on YouTube. Is what
Beautiful.
I'm saying. So we're inviting the people to become a part of the movement, become a part of the move, and get the things moving. It's what I'm saying, because I and I generation will make the change, and we have to make that change in our time, in this
Mm-hmm.
time. We have to make the change that we want to see. Malcolm X hold the banner from that time until this time. And
Yep.
I've been saying to Shomari that, Malcolm X is the most important person that ever born on the soil of the United States, right?
Mm.
Malcolm X is the most important person. And if you check the history of all the people who they popularized and compare it with Malcolm X, you will see why a Ras Takura from Jamaica will see that Malcolm X stand out among all these people, and the world need to know that Malcolm X is from this community. Is what I'm saying, and I select myself to be an advocate for that call. To let people know that Malcolm X is from a little place named Evans Street. Is what I'm saying, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful place, and
I
and
Yeah,
love it.
man.
Malcolm X has used his voice, to echo across the world
Mm.
before computer, before all these internet and all these things.
Mm.
Malcolm X have reached people in the four corners of the earth. I've been to Africa, I've been to Ghana, and I've seen Malcolm X is a national hero in Ghana. Malcolm
Mm.
X is an international hero in Jamaica. Is what I'm saying. Yes, so we have to celebrate this energy. We have to celebrate this man. And every time I come to Omaha, I want to do something at the Malcolm X Foundation,
Yeah.
because that's I feel like that's my foundation. That's our foundation. That's I and I foundation. Is what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the
Definitely.
people of
Just real quick, man, I wanted to big up to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and brother Shamari for again teaming up with you, going making that Omaha Jamaica connection. Y'all been
definitely,
doing this for quite some time. Like this isn't the first foray in Omaha. Y'all been doing this for several years, so I'm definitely
definitely,
glad to see that going.
definitely,
And I want to take this moment while you're shouting out the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and shout out to Betty Shabazz Community Garden at the Malcolm X
definitely.
Memorial Foundation and talking
Right.
about those seeds. Brother Leo Lewis was like the first to really teach me about heirloom seeds that you're talking about, the organic seeds that keep
Definitely.
producing other seeds so you can keep feeding yourself and not have to pay somebody else to
Uh,
sustain yourself. So
definitely.
yeah, big shout out to Malcolm X. And if y'all haven't been there, check out the Betty Shabazz Community Garden.
Respect.
I just want to mention real quick too, for those of you that don't know and haven't been with us since the beginning, like how Stacey Jean has been with
Man.
us. Brother Ras Takura has come. Like you said, we've had concerts on the ground over there at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. When we were at Mind and Soul, he came to visit
Hmm.
us. He came to do several interviews with us on the radio at Mind and Soul
Right.
back in the day. So we have a long history with Brother Ras Takura on what we got going on here. Shout out to him and shout out to you. Shout out to Shamari. And shout out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation for continuing this on and really growing. I want to make mention to you. I don't know if you guys know this, but our branch of the library, the Washington Branch Library, has a little small seed exchange in the library where you can go
Wow.
bring heirloom.
Great.
Yep. Yep,
Great.
yep. So they're on that tip, and you should go over there and check that out and see what they got going on. But they got a little bit of a seed exchange at the library at the
Nice.
Washington branch. People are starting to get on this idea, and we also there's people also that have taken some land here in North Omaha and done community gardens. There's community
Hmm.
gardens all over the place as well. So I can't help but think because of some of your influence and you being a artistic soldier in this fight and bringing it to our attention here that it's gone a long way and it builds every year this awareness of
Yep.
food security and what we need to do in our neighborhood. So we want to thank you for that.
Give thanks. Give
Yes.
thanks.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Appreciate.
Uh,
Appreciate,
Re- Oh yeah, oh yeah. We appreciate you, man. It's definitely mutual. The feeling is mutual.
Respect.
Then want to go to the chat. We have people watching. We have people listening. We have people engaging, and there are a few questions. If you don't
Yeah.
mind, Sister Wanda Lewis in the chat is asking: is it plant based only, or does it include raising your own poultry as well? What are your
Well,
thoughts on that?
I wouldn't say it is plant-based only. No, I would not say it. I'm talking about raising your own animals or people who eat animals. Even though I don't really support the consumption of animals in any
Mm,
form, but I understand that people want to consume different type of food. So yes, if you grow your poultry and you feed your fowl the right way, and treat him like life, and you're not trying to create a super bird. Is what
man.
I'm saying. Because
Right.
a lot of the feed that is already designed for these animals are super feeds. Is what I'm saying. And these super feeds have a lot of MSGs in it, and it have a lot of chemicals that you wouldn't want to put into your structure. Is what I'm saying. And then if you are what you eat, if you eat a bird that is been contaminated by certain chemicals, or by certain type of feed that they ingested, then you are also take it into yourself. So you have to aware of that. So you are
Mhm.
what you eat.
Man,
Yes, sir.
Mm,
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
mm.
Um,
Another
so
question in the chat. I think
yep.
Rome's Review is asking about cannabis hemp seed. Is there a GMO hemp right now going on too, or is that more
Yeah,
pure seed?
yes, there's GMOM. I mean, yeah, I would close my eyes without question and say right now, in the whole movement of GMO, the cannabis industry is one of the biggest affected, because whenever time there is a new phenomena, whatever the new phenomena is, right? Experimentation and that phenomena have always been the highest, right? So
Mhm.
now that ganja is just lifting the banner of freedom. Ganja is just getting that little freedom that every other plant celebrate. 'Cause when I check it, every plant on the earth have been being a free plant except ganja. So ganja, cannabis is just getting that exposure to
Mm,
freedom. So the fact that it is getting exposure to freedom, it means that a lot of quests, a lot of scientists, a lot of inquisitive minds is going to want to question this plant, right?
mm,
And in that in this question about this plant, you're going to find a lot of experimental things, and GMO is one of the biggest experiment that is taking place amongst plant. So we cannot close our mind and our eyes to think that cannabis would be exempted from that old GMO tradition and GMO exploration, right?
Mhm.
I was just in Florida, and I went to a cannabis expo named Smoking Festival in Tampa area, right? And I get some of the cannabis products. One of the vape that I received, right? It clearly marked GMO. It
mm,
Mm.
marked GMO. I don't remember all the information on it, but I saw the GMO so big on it, and to the point where I could not use that one. Because there's no way a person like Ras Takura, who's advocating against GMO seeds and the use of GMO cannabis, could really be endorsing and using a product like a cannabis that I actually see that GMO is a part of the brand. Is
Right.
what
mhm,
I'm saying.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm kind of
So
curious. I'm not familiar with the laws in Jamaica, but I do know other countries around the world has kind of stood up against Monsanto, and outlawed GMO seeds. Is that a thing in Jamaica?
I would say no. It's only
Okay.
still devices like Ras Takura and the
Hmm.
conscious Rastaman in Jamaica is saying no
Okay.
to GMO. The whole industry in Jamaica is kind of subscribe themselves to this international growing of food. So the institutions in Jamaica, like you have an institution named RADA, which is Rural Agricultural Development Authority, right? And most
Mm,
of their seeds is not being seeds that they get in Jamaica, are seeds that come from other non-GMO cultivation. There are open house that receive seeds in different donation packages and just distribute it without even questioning. Because
mhm,
if they were questioning seeds, like the way Seeds should be questioning in Jamaica, a lot of the products that they have on the market and marketing would not be on the market. And I'm talking about things like the Roundup, I'm talking about the glyphosate and all these chemical poison that is being used in agriculture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So GMO is a smaller part of the problem in,
Hmm.
in that bigger problem. Is what I'm
Right.
saying. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of countries in Europe and Asia
Hmm.
seeing ban the use of GMO seeds. It was recently, like probably about 5 years ago, in California, that a couple was rewarded a lot of a whole lump sum of money, right? As a reaction or from their chemical poisoning that Monsanto chemical has contributed to their cancer. And they won the lawsuit against Monsanto and was
Mm-hmm.
awarded millions of dollars, right?
Yep.
So this thing is real. It is real that you have a group of people who are trying to poison the earth, and you have people who are fighting against the poison.
I
Man,
always tell people about my experience in Hawaii. I spent
mm,
the 2000 from 2001 to 2010 in Hawaii. There's a big Monsanto organization over there, and they were all constantly fighting this war. And for those of you who don't know, Monsanto is a huge corporation that has licensed figured out how to license seeds.
Right.
But a whole other part of their business model is to create weed killers and stuff like the Roundup
Yes.
that you go buy at Home Depot. Roundup to kill the weeds is the
Yes.
same company that owns your food, and
mm-hmm.
Definitely.
so so you can imagine.
Monsanto have find himself in a position where he control the total production cycle of food.
Yep.
From the seed to the actual food that you eat and all the chemicals that you use to grow the food,
Right.
Yep.
right? And to the
I,
point where Monsanto creates seeds that produce their own chemical, produce their own
mm,
poison. So
mm,
insects don't eat those foods, right?
yeah.
And I'm telling you, if insect don't eat your food, it is not good for you to eat either.
Woo, man.
There you
What
go.
I'm
There
saying,
you go. I'll never
yeah.
forget the time I had a class in college, and the professor or the instructor uh, informed us that he used to work for Monsanto.
Ah,
Wow.
And
okay.
the irony of that is the topic of the lecture was population control.
Mm,
I don't
mm,
remember what class it was, but I will never forget sitting in a class being
right,
taught about population control by somebody who used to work for Monsanto. And I'm
right.
looking around like, am I the only one that's hearing this? Like, do
Yeah.
any of my other classmates understand what y'all being told?
That is it. That's the thing. A lot of people hear things, but they don't understand what they are being told, because your understanding of things, is always based on your prior knowledge,
Mm,
right? And if you don't
hmm
have prior knowledge to certain things that you hear is just going to go over your head, unless
Yep.
you are in a questioning mind and are going to say, okay, I heard this thing and I want to know what it is, so let me research. And even sometimes when you research, you still get misinformation if you're still not prior to certain knowledge, you know?
Right.
hmm
Well,
Yeah.
we appreciate you and the knowledge that you bring and the awareness
Yeah.
that you bring, and you being a soldier, our kind of soldier too, brother. That artist soldier is the one that's going to take all this down. So we really appreciate you. We got
Yeah.
another.
Well,
Mhm.
let me add to that. Not just a
Yeah.
soldier, but a royal African soldier.
Uh-huh.
That's
Mm,
what I'm saying.
peace.
Because
Peace.
Marcus Garvey say, Marcus Garvey say, in the cause of Africa's redemption, we got to be soldiers. And we got to be loyal, royal African soldiers. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we are the royal African soldiers, you
Love it.
know.
Peace.
And, and,
Peace.
and, and
Peace.
yeah, and we recognize all the royal African soldiers when we see them. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Respect, brother.
And,
Respect.
and Malcolm X is a royal African soldier. So
Oh
all
yeah.
the followers of Malcolm are also royal African soldiers.
Yeah,
That's what
man.
I'm
Right
saying.
on.
Yeah.
Man.
We
Man.
got
Race
another.
pride. Race
We
pride.
got another guest coming on here pretty soon, so we're gonna let you go here in a minute. You got any last words for the people? We'll go ahead
Yeah,
and
well,
put
I
this
want to
fire.
thanks to Omaha. I want to thanks to Omaha. I want to thanks to the people. Thanks to Shomari and his family. And give thanks to be here. I want to invite the people to come out to the culture house tonight. Come
Yeah,
and see my performance with the
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda band. Is what I'm saying. Come and
that's
see
it.
my performance. Come and see my show. I'm inviting you. Come out early. Yeah. And the flyer, it says doors at 6, Showtime 7. So come out and support the energy, support the vibration, and also come to the screening on Sunday of the Cross Pollination film at the Malcolm X Foundation at 3448 Evans Street. And this start at 3 p.m. to 5. So come and support, come and meet and greet, and come and get a energy, come and get a vibration. Send the children out, and
Man.
come and support the vibration. And I want to say a royal shout out to Regenerate Nebraska, for
Yes.
Okay.
supporting this whole energy. Regenerate Nebraska. Big shout out, big salute to my brothers, all the people who, is a part of that Regenerate Nebraska. Actually, I like the term regenerate. It's
Yes.
a very
Mm-hmm.
nice word to use as a part of your brand. So, Regenerate Nebraska, you will always be a part of Ras Takura. So give
Beautiful.
thanks for that energy and that vibration. And first Sky Omaha, royal salute, brothers. I like to see you doing your work and thing. It's good. And I salute you brothers for just putting in the energy and putting in the work and accommodating I and I so my voice can be projected in your community. Royal salute to all the people who are listening. And I'm inviting you to go and check out my YouTube channel and also follow me on Instagram, Facebook. It's Ras Takura. You go on Instagram, it's Ras Takura1, and also TikTok. So give thanks for the love, give thanks for the energy. Rastafari, love and protect the item. So we're looking forward to see a house full at the Culture House tonight. So everyone just come and support the energy. Rastafari.
Man, big ups. Big
Respect, brother.
ups. Peace
Thank
and
you so
love.
much. Peace, 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 brother.
Someone is asking to post my links.
Yeah,
Can you
we'll
Yes.
drop
post
that in
my
the
links
chat.
for
We'll
me,
get you right.
please? Yeah, the Rastakura one for the Instagram, the Rastakura one for the TikTok, and Rastakura for the what you call all the other social media and stuff like that. It's
There you
Rastakura.
go.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
Yep.
get your links and put that in for everybody for sure, man. We appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, all
All
right.
right.
Bless
Thank you
up,
very
sis.
much. Have a good one. We'll see you soon. I'm gonna see you Sunday. I'm gonna come out to the screening for sure.
All right, respect. Give
Respect,
thanks.
respect.
Respect. Peace.
Bless
Peace.
it.
All right, there we
Man,
go.
beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful.
man. It's good
Man.
to catch up with that brother right there, man. Always.
Always, always. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely check them out, man. You eat better, you feel better, you do better.
So true, so true. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break while we get this screen back right. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your questions and comments. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hopefully, we got another special guest coming on here pretty soon. So stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, stay tuned. We will be right back shortly. Right near the beach. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be Buddi3 Da Gawd, all
Hey.
of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. It is Friday, so a little bit of different things to talk about here today. We really appreciate Brother Ras Takura for coming on and Brother Shomari Huggins for getting that together so we can speak to
Yeah.
him. So that's it. Love catching up with that brother for sure, man. You talking about consistency? Like I said, he's been in this thing called the food war for many years, even before we met him, and we met him back in
Yeah.
2017, and like he's been coming through ever since. So there's been a big movement going on. If you guys don't know about it, where there's a festival that is a sister festival here in Omaha at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. It is a sister festival out in Jamaica for the same reason. Big group of people from our community go out to Jamaica for that festival.
Yeah.
Shomari and his crew and his team. So definitely check it out. And again, definitely make your presence known when you come through over at Culture House a little later on tonight for the Friday concert. We talk about one of those kinds of the wars that we talk about. We talk about the soldiers, and we love the fact that the artist soldiers are the kind of soldiers that we're about, man. So that we've
Hmm.
learned a lot about food insecurity from his songs. Just listening to his tracks. We used to play his tracks on Mind and Soul back in the day too. So definitely check that out Friday tonight. He said doors open at 6. Show starts at 7. Friday concert, and then definitely check this film out at the Malcolm X
Man,
Foundation. The screening on Sunday over there at the Malcolm X at 3 o'clock. Definitely check that out. So shout out to Ras Takura. Like I said, shout out to Shomari Huggins and everybody coming in. Really appreciate that. And once again, I see that we have a special guest waiting in the wings. So we're gonna, without further ado, go ahead and bring him on since it's about 8:25 right now. For those of you that believe in the concept of time, and ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, brother Preston Love in the house.
I
hey,
I
Good.
hope you're not spanking me because you slipped that in there. I was supposed to be there a little earlier.
Oh, it's all good. No, no, you good.
nah,
You good.
nah, man.
We just
We're
want to make
definitely,
sure that we got enough time. I wanted to stop talking myself so we can give you some time. That's all.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
well,
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
you know what? People don't know, but I'm going to tell on us. We've been speaking all our lives. Our families were connected from a generation ago, and uh, we go way back, Mr. Allen.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And,
Yes, sir.
and then to your co-host, I say good morning.
Good morning. Actually, I met your brother while I was in Omaha for Omaha days, and he kind of reminded me that you guys were kind of close to my dad and uncles, the McGalls, Mark McGall, Ray McGall.
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, this is
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be.
my dad. Mark
I don't
McGall's
know
my
what's
dad.
gonna happen on the radio, but we're gonna be talking family stuff here.
Hmm.
Surely, no, yes, surely. You met Richie? Is that
Yep,
who you met?
yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah. My brother Richie Love and my other brother Norman Love are, I think, two of the most premier saxophone players in this generation.
Hmm.
And Richie, who you met, just signed after all these years his first real recording contract.
Oh
And
wow.
so no
Nice.
telling what's going to happen to Richie because he's got some good stuff out there. Good, smooth jazz. And so I'm glad that you all made the connection.
Yes,
Paul,
sir.
thank you, both of you, for having me on. So much uh, to talk about in our hometown. A
Yep.
lot going on, and there's a lot more good. It used to be, if you want to talk, we talk about the bad and the ugly.
Hmm.
Not much good to talk about, but
Right.
we've got a lot of good to talk about. We've got still a lot of challenges, but it's a different situation where your challenges have the potential of good stuff happening as
Mm.
opposed to challenges where everything is just unraveling and all of that. We've had our days with that.
Hmm.
But I think we're in a position right now where uh, we have a lot of potential things that could happen in our community. We got a lot of gifts, a lot of assets,
Hmm.
a lot of great people, uh, young and old, and the generations. I don't think we're doing a good job yet of having the generations talking and working together. That's one
Mm.
of the challenges.
Mm.
We would be so much better if it's never going to be perfect.
Hmm.
Or old Sally don't like Susan, and old Joe don't like Paul, or
Hmm.
but
Family matters. Family matters. We call
Yep,
them.
yep, yep, yep.
but and so I'm surely proud to be a native of North Omaha, but I feel a responsibility, like a lion in his whole group, to make sure that uh, we protect our turf
Hmm.
on one hand, uh, from those coming from the outside. I mean, what I mean by outside, I don't mean somebody live on 108th, but I mean, the other communities coming
Mhm.
at us, pulling and strategically working against us. That's what I mean by the outside, and and then that we all that are African American and that we're stewards of our community and realize that we are
Yep.
stewards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
I want to jump in there real quick if you allow me to speak before you, brother elder. We just want to make sure that all of our people that are chiming in the chat and all of our ghost listeners, everybody pretty much knows who you are, of course, and we also know that you have been running your organization Black Votes Matter in order to really get the vote out. You've been heavy into politics recently. So anybody who doesn't, anybody in the chat or the ghost listeners do not know who Brother Preston Love Jr. is or what it is he's behind, feel free to throw that in the chat. Most definitely. I see Brother Kasim in the chat. He says, "Peace, fellas, brother. Peace to you, Brother Kasim. Thanks for
Peace,
joining us."
peace.
Also, Mama God said Richie played at me and your dad's wedding. Okay, so it's all in the family. That's what's up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Is he
Uh,
still married?
that's the question. But yeah, so we definitely we would love to have brother Love on even more. We always are
Oh
threatening
yeah.
to have him on and all that good stuff. So and this is our and just so you know too, this is our attempt. We kind of have put it upon ourselves to try to bring every black organization that's trying to do something for the black population of Omaha, the black community here together, because you're right, there is a lot of separation between youth and older. There's a
Mhm.
separation between what the work that's being done on the streets and the work that's being done politically. There's a lot of different arms to this, and if we can try to help bring some of that together, then great. So when we talked, I was very happy that we were able to coordinate for you to come on and talk about some of these things. In the news right now, there was a story about a couple of voting spots are got some envelopes with some drugs and stuff in them, some threatening envelopes.
Yeah.
It just reminded us that voting season is on its way,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and like Precious McKesson always says, if our vote didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to suppress it.
Right.
And you've been on that tip for a long time. So tell us if you can give us a rundown of what you got going on these days. You've had some leadership meetings recently too. Tell us
Mhm.
about what's going on in your world.
Well, I hope we have a chance to talk about, some of all of that. We do have what, 4 hours? Is that what you got?
Uh-huh, yeah. Just a little shy.
Yeah,
Just a little shy.
Just
but
about
I wanna
3 hours and 40 minutes shy, but
okay, all right. But I wanna and I'll touch and anybody on the chat or you wanna pursue kind of some of the bullet ties things that I'll say real quick,
okay.
uh,
Mhm.
because everything is a lot more profound and a lot deeper than just the bullets, but in
Okay.
order to get it in a time frame, but I want people to know, your your, uh your audience. You have regulars too, I know, Paul,
Yep.
Mhm.
and you all, but I am I am an elder. Uh, I'll be 80. I am 80, I should say. So I've grew up in this community, uh, and I've experienced, not just studied, but experienced all the good and bad and the ugly of that. Whether it be uh, Vivian Strong. I was alive and kicking during that, redlining, all the things we talk about of our historical experience. Much of that I lived through,
Mm.
and uh, and then I've watched, and we'll have a chance maybe a little bit to talk about the money that may be coming into our community. But I've watched North Omaha go, and it may be a surprise, but over 40 to 50 years without any investment. There's
Uh-huh.
another way to look at it, that we have had disinvestment in
Mm,
our community.
Shout out to
And
Chris Bowling.
yes, and so all of that I have experienced uh, as a active participating member of this community. I've never been on the sidelines uh,
Mm.
in my days in North Omaha. I spent a great part of my adult life outside, as I went about my life, I surely went to Omaha Tech. I
Mm.
played
Man.
football for Nebraska. I'm in the uh, uh, Nebraska Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Yep.
I don't
wow.
know if you know
Okay.
that, Paul. Did you know
Yep.
Yeah,
that?
I remember when they announced it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of that now.
Yeah.
Now I can't hardly get up the steps.
You
But
you got enough yards. You
yeah,
did your work.
but all of that. But I have, for the 20 plus years that I've been back home, if you will, I have 100% of my time been about service. Service is where I come from. I have worked and fought and struggled with uh, all of the things that North Omaha is faced with. I have an organization, as you mentioned, Black Votes Matter. Again, I'm just summarizing quickly. And we have worked very hard. And I want to spend some time on some bad news or some challenging news to uh, our community. And that is, we're voting horribly,
Mm.
Mhm.
horribly, and have been for all the time that I've been back home. 20
Mm.
years we have voted horrible. I'll define what horrible means, but essentially the way that you look at voting is how many people are registered to vote out of your community, and those who are registered, how many actually vote. That number who actually vote is termed turnout. And so if you have 100 people and 50 people vote, that's 50% turnout. And so uh, in our community, we always, and I'm saying almost always, in North Omaha, we underutilize our power and our leverage by
Mhm.
not coming out to vote. And I want to say that's the issue. It's not so much we did elect Joe or Sally as much as it is now that we're losing our leverage. We can't go downtown and pound on the table and demand such and such for our community because they just snicker and say, well, you go on somewhere and kick rocks because y'all don't vote. You can't vote me out and all that. That's
Mhm.
leverage. Or if we have something that we want to get done, we don't have the voting leverage to demand that we get the attention of uh, the public sector and in some degree the private sector. We have not done a good job. And so, uh, again, I don't take too much time with it, but this year, uh, 2023, I realized that it was really has gone too long with us really coming together as a community and saying enough is enough. We're gonna handle our business. We're gonna get out and vote like crazy. And
Mhm.
so I called for a Black political summit,
Mhm.
and so we've had three. We uh, and we've had tremendous recognition. I think that it's time for us to handle our business, Paul. And the we met on February 4th, and I described for almost an hour the problem. And even, I want to just say this, even in 2008, when Black folks should have been voting, we had the first opportunity to vote for a Black to be the president of the United States. You would think that the Black community would vote strongly. Well,
Mhm.
we did. We did pretty good. We increased our voting by about 10 percentage points. In other words, we normally vote during presidential elections at 55.
Mm.
In 2008, when Obama ran, we voted at 62%.
Mm.
And I'll pause because some people will say, "Oh man, that's great stuff." Well, here's the problem: the rest of Douglas County voted at 72.
Mm.
Mm.
So
Still
we
been
were
outvoted.
10%. There's a gap, even in 2008. But so you got the point. Every election cycle, we vote sometimes better than others, but we're voting. We've got a gap. We should at least vote as well as the rest of the community,
Mm.
and maybe in some cases vote more. We got to turn that around, and it couldn't be more of an important year. You talked about the news. The news now is saying that Trump has a good chance of becoming the president again.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
somebody in this community doesn't realize that if there's a time where we need to say, okay, we're going to handle our business this time, this is one of those times. And more. But I just
Mhm.
use that as a reference. So my organization for years has been focused on doing that. And so I'm optimistic that we're going to get it this time. I have, we have stakeholder groups that have committed to really focus. And I'm just going to mention those groups very briefly and kind of pause and let you ask me some questions about that. We'll move on. But, stakeholder groups. Uh, the clergy, black clergy in North Omaha, is committed to work with their flock to get the vote out, register and get the vote out. That's not that they haven't done something in the past, but they're really committed to this effort this year. We've got what we call the grassroots, but the neighborhoods, the
Mhm.
people, the regular folks, and
Mhm.
folks who work with them are committed to just knock on doors and make phone calls to get them out and get them to understand how important it is. We've got uh, immigrants that we do you realize, and hope your audience does. I know you know that we have Africans from all many countries in North Omaha or around in the city, but in Omaha we have more South Sudanese than any other place in the country.
Mhm.
Those people know, and guess what? We're just learning as a people, we black folks, black Americans, to really reach out and develop relationships. I am
Mhm.
so surprised that we got some people who wearing dashiki and have some African stuff, looking good in it too, and then don't speak to the South Sudanese. That
Mm.
don't make no sense.
Mhm.
Uh, and so we're trying to forge relationship. Willie Hamilton has done a lot of outreach. I've done a lot of outreach, but we talked to them about getting their people registered. Like most of them are eligible uh, uh, because they've been in the country, they're immigrants or whatever, but they've done the things. They just are not registered because they don't feel like they're part of it, and we haven't made them feel welcome in the part of our community. It's changing uh, because they're sending their kids to school, and their kids are interacting with black folks, and the young folks are not hung up so much as the older folks. Ooh, those Africans, as well as we're talking big African talk, but we ain't acting it out. And so
Mhm.
all of that. And then I left to the last is one of the stakeholder groups is we're working with a lot of young folks who are working with other young folks and teaching me teaching me about stuff I don't tell nobody. But uh, I've learned so much about what young folks listen to and watch.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, and so I'm doing Facebook and young folks are on Instagram. I said, oops, I better learn how to do that. And those kind
Mhm.
of things. Because if we want to talk and get together, we got to be able to reach each other. So
Yep.
I'm talking to Facebook thinking all those young folks are sitting on Facebook waiting on me to say something. No, they're not. Uh, but so working together, and we've got a lot of folks that I have reached out to. I work a lot with Spark and some of the wonderful African
Nice.
Americans there, Bree and Manny, and just so many. I surely
Mhm.
have a lot of respect for Marcy and just Johnny Nesbitt and a lot of we have a lot of great young folks coming up. We just need to make sure we integrate the things they're doing and they integrate the things we're doing.
Yep.
And all that. Yeah. So
Appreciate that. I definitely want to jump in the chat unless, buddy, you have a question or could you want to jump in?
No, let's go ahead and jump to the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, lots of good comments here. I'm going to start from the last one first. Brother Kasim jumped in and says, "Yes, we're doing horrible. I agree. Hard being black in a ghetto in which elders hold the mantle and refuse to pass it. For example, Ernie Chambers, phenomenal man. However, he groomed no one to take his place or to continue his work. We got lucky and gained Terrell." And even in gaining Terrell, there were old gatekeepers in whom tried to block him.
Mm.
We will be sitting down on our land with 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, and 16-year-olds children to teach them the importance there. The elders, many of them, especially in North Omaha, have missed their mark. Good comment. We can come back to here. Also, a new.
Could I just mention that?
Sure,
Uh,
go ahead.
I, I hate to admit it, but I agree a lot
That was my question.
with the chat. I mean, I agree a lot with it, but I can tell you, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I surely uh, uh, am trying not to be that, and trying to I a whole nother subject, but I don't know if that person on the chat realizes some of the work that my team, if you will, have done to mitigate that problem. I don't know if you all know that for the last 7 years, I take 40 high school kids.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, you're familiar with my tour. I
Yep.
take them down south and teach them face to face with Black history. They come back changed, but and then hopefully, and we do develop kind of a relationship. We're together for a solid week, but they go and learn about the Black history, uh, and then they come back a little more uh, enthused about things simple as voting, but
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of learning. Uh,
Yeah.
by the way, this year in 2023, we took that group. We also take about 40 adults. So it's about 80 of us that go every year.
Mm-hmm.
But and I paid for all of the expenses of the youth, all of it. But
Yeah.
we went to Black Wall Street this year,
Okay.
and oh man, it
Tulsa,
knocked
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa,
Yep.
Oklahoma, uh, and it knocked my socks off. I think I'm somewhat of a historian, but there's so much deeper story in Tulsa than I realized. But I just mentioned that we need to be intentional about reaching back and developing new leaders. I think about Bree Full. I'm so impressed by her work
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so many others. So I surely agree uh, with the with the
Well, let me
Yeah.
let me let me jump in here. Brother Kasim is a person who has an organization called the Black Agenda Alliance, and I think it's very important that you from you as an elder and also with Black Votes Matter team up and actually sit down and have a conversation with Brother Kasim and the Black Agenda Alliance. They're doing a lot of work
is
with the
he on
youth.
the is he on?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I surely agree, and can we can do this because I don't care if people call me, but a lot of times folks don't like to put their number up. But I'll put my number on the chat. Uh, I haven't used this. What's this
Here,
platform?
go. This is called Restream. Just shout it out, and I'll go ahead and I'll put that
Yeah,
in the chat
sure.
for you. Yeah.
Uh, and I hope that we can talk. And we need to talk soon because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things getting ready to happen. But
Yeah.
my number is 402
Mm-hmm.
812
812.
3324. And my email, which is what I use more than Messenger, but my email is Preston Love Jr. Jr. at Gmail. Oh, I'd love to hear, and we need to talk. And the time to talk is kind of right now before we get too far into 2024.
I hear
Yes,
you. I
sir.
hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me go ahead and jump back in the chat here real quick, just
Mm-hmm.
so we can get that. Von Chapman is saying, "Good morning, brother Love. Why has voter apathy gotten worse, and does Black Votes Matter involve itself in local community issues?"
Well, that Mr. Chapman is an old buddy, man. We sometimes we be going at it, you know, on, but
Good.
I really have a lot of respect for him. It's a good question, but Black Folks Matter. That's we 24/7. You we're involved in Black issues. I mean, and I'm giving him a free pass on that question because he's he's probably got his sitting on the beach with his feet in the sand out there while we
Right near the beach.
yeah, but if he were here, maybe he would understand that. Oh my goodness, yes. And what does that really mean? It means fighting for things and then being proactive for things. We're doing it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
day after day, and it's no fun. People don't. pat you on the back for half of the stuff we do, or not even aware. We're testifying that down at the state for stuff that's good and stuff that's against stuff that's bad. We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to create uh, things. We're Von, we're full time, too much time. I hard work all the time to
Yeah.
as it relates to our issues. And if you were here, I think you'd understand that because a lot of them, if you ask me to list my top three or something, it's full time stuff that's changing all the time.
And
But
I,
we're absolutely focused and do the work. Good
I,
yeah.
question.
I, go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Paul.
buddy.
Just to reiterate that, like I bear witness, like Vivian Strong. I'm thinking Vivian Strong, the Vivian Strong announcement when they released the signage. You were there,
Yeah,
Skurlock. You were there. Yeah, definitely boots to the roots.
yeah. And that plaque, real quick, little quick commercial on one a business of mine, which is North Omaha Legacy Tours, and we take folks in and out of our community, and you know, tour our history and culture. But one of the new things on the tour is to stop by that plaque on 24th Street and let people get educated on the Vivian Strong story. And I don't know that I appreciate you reminding me to say something on that because that story is an economic story also, and I don't think
Mm,
people understand that. But
Ooh.
the economic is slowly but surely North Omaha was beginning to develop uh, some economics. We weren't building any wealth, but we were building lots of commerce. We were buying, had lots of business up and down the Deuce and buying from each other and all that. And when Vivian Strong was killed in 1969, murdered in 1969, the community erupted and we tore all that up and stopped all that economics development. We just were so mad. We ended up tearing up our own community. That's a whole nother story. But we've never recovered from that. And things that are happening right now we're finally trying to get the economics. Uh, and we've been in economic devastation for 40 or 50 years.
mm,
And that's changing. But sorry.
Oh no, you good. I appreciate the context there. I will say that it's 8:51 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we only got a few minutes left with you.
Oh,
I wanted to jump into. I think that what we'll ask people to do is go back and take a look at some of the other comments and questions in the chat at another time. If you miss any parts of this interview, you can always go back to Facebook and YouTube and watch it in its entirety. And when you do come back to the chat, and definitely talk about that. But I know that you wanted to get an announcement in, and you wanted to do a couple of the things here before you got out of here. So
yeah.
we
I
got
want to
about
say, you mentioned Terrell,
Mhm.
and I have so much respect for him.
Mhm.
And I have been working with Terrell way before he was one of our state senators. I one of the things that I've done over the years is I provide a kind of an informal workshop for potential candidates, and I talk about
Mm.
things
mm,
that need to be done before you decide to run, and then if you decide. And Terrell was one of my people. And early in the game,
Wow.
before he was, and now I'm so proud of him. He's a man with great integrity and no nonsense. And I surely work well with him and so forth. Got to move on to, but I want to say this. We talked about us lacking to vote this year. I mean, year after year, we have not had a candidate running
Mhm.
for the United States Congress and the Congressional District 2 that we live in. We've had some good candidates and some better, but we haven't won uh, those who would represent our community. So year after year, I've mentioned that. But and then this effort I mentioned on the Black Political Summit, trying to get our folks out. The problem is that Black folks tend to vote emotionally, meaning that we need to be emotionally engaged in the election, else we're not going to come out
mm.
uh, in any strong numbers. And so we're trying the summit to try to get them really. by working hard to get them out to vote, but we don't have any much stuff to emotionally get them attached. A little emotion that we can use is Trump. They will respond negatively and hopefully come out and vote just to deal with him. But it is national, and that's a little off the track. So I do have an announcement. Uh, I'm going to be running against Ricketts for the United States Senate.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
And so I paused because we're talking about the United States Senate and we're talking about Ricketts. And I'm hoping my reason for running is not any ego trip or really maybe not me even thinking that I have a great chance of winning. I'm an underdog I want to say I'm David and he's Goliath, but I want y'all to think about that for a minute, because if you think about it, you'll realize who won that battle. But
All right. All
but
right.
I'm running against him because I'm hoping that the black community will get emotionally positively involved, because one of the homeboys is running for the Senate and they'll come out and vote. And guess what happens if they come out and vote? We'll probably then be successful in the in the U.S. House race, because folks will be out and they'll vote for the Democrat, whether they and so I may not be the senator, but the congressional candidate may get us in Congress. I don't have the time to develop the numbers in Congress, but 1 or 2 seats here or there can change the way things get done. And so, but I am announcing informally to you all and to this audience. I wanted to do it, Paul, with you and your audience.
Appreciate
that I'm
it.
running, and more. I'm running, and I'm going to be raising the money to do it. But we've already started structuring. I'm going to be running for the United States Senate. The primaries in May. By the way, I am the Democratic choice, so there won't be anyone else on the ballot from the Democrat side. And so I don't have any opposition in the primary. That's my real point on that.
Right,
And so
right.
I'll have a chance. The other reason for being a candidate is I'll have a chance to articulate the views and issues that concern our community, which would be discussed on that stage. Many of you may or may not know that in 1984, I was the campaign organizer and manager when Jesse Jackson ran for president in 1984. But one of the things we were trying to win, but we thought we might not win. But it gave him an opportunity to talk about some of the issues that are relevant to the black community. That analogy I use because I will be on the stage talking about stuff we want to talk about, not listening to Ricketts and whoever else would be talking about stuff that don't even concern us. So I wanted your audience to know, and I'm hoping that maybe that I will inspire young and old in our community to come out and vote heavy, and we'll get the benefits of that. If nothing else, just to show folks that this community can come out and vote strong, get our leverage back. So that's my announcement.
I appreciate you coming on, breaking that with us. Yeah, thank you
Thank
very much, and good luck on the run. We do think that part of the issue here when it comes to people voting is that you always got to go for the lesser of the two evils, and never have anybody you really feel like you can vote for, and so it would really help for somebody that we know in the community, respecting the community, to run. So we appreciate you doing that. We are going to leave some of these questions. I see you checking out the chat, but don't check it out too close, because we're gonna come back and I forgot to tell you that in the beginning. It gets addicted for you to go look in the chat, but
yeah.
we're gonna.
I'll say, what'd you say? I'm reading. Don't.
Right. But I will encourage everybody to come back and take a look at some of the comments in the chat as well. If you miss any parts of this interview, again, you can come back and check it out. It's in entirety on Facebook and YouTube, and check out the chat when you do, and see what some of the chat chimers are saying in the chat about these things. But we want to leave it there. Let him drop the mic on that, so that he because that's a big announcement, and we don't want to start jumping back into issues after that announcement. Let's let that marinate and really understand what that means. You already had me this morning. I knew you were going to announce it, so I started looking up what exactly people do in the Senate, and
Yeah.
start educating myself a little bit on that and seeing what Pete Ricketts' track record has been. And you're
Okay.
right, we need somebody in that seat to be able to talk about our issues, and we
Yeah.
appreciate you
Right.
doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I surely hope that along the way, which will be a whole year, really, uh, as when I'll be announcing in January, uh, and I'll be traveling the state. I have a lot more relationships with some of the folks out in the rural community than folks may don't tell Ricketts, but may realize. But I would hope that all year I come on, regularly and kind of give folks an update, and we'll talk about, the race and other things. There's going to be more than the race going on. We got money coming in the
Mm-hmm.
community here, and I surely like to have some time to talk about the good, the bad, and ugly, or potential that we have on that. Whether hope we handle our business, the money could kill us, or it can really get us on our way. So
Yeah.
all of those things we can talk. I hope, Paul, that we'll do some kind of regular thing, and
Oh
I'll
yeah.
come on and do just a quick segment.
We
Yeah.
would love to have you do that. Absolutely, yeah, for
Definitely.
sure. At this time, we are going to go ahead and shut it down. It's 9 o'clock. That's our agreed upon time to shut this down. I know that people are going to hang with us a little bit longer. We ask you to do so that we can wrap it up here with Brother Love, and then jump into a couple of little haps. So if you guys don't mind, we'll stay a few minutes after to do that. But yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, let's go back into the chat another time and look and see what people are saying and answer whatever questions there are there. Any last words for the people before we get out of here, Brother Love?
I'm sorry.
I say, any last words for the people before we
No,
get out of here?
we just need to. It sounds corny, and we overuse it, but we as a community, you need to really think of ourselves as needing to be unified in our activity. We can even chop it up and disagree on this, but we need to be together when it's out. It's like family arguing
Mm-hmm.
about something, but when we go outside that door, don't mess with the family. And
Right.
so I'm just urging all of us to not over intellectualize things that are happening to us, but that
Mm.
we work together and handling our business, and don't let the old pick on the young and the young pick on the old, or we always pick on each other, especially our leaders, because the leaders are out front doing stuff and we make mistakes and all of that. Let's beat them up, but love them at the same time.
Mhm.
There you go.
Terrell and I talked after he was on the show. We'll talk about what we're trying to do with our leadership meeting. And he made a couple comments that he wasn't sure. And so I talked to him. He and I talked just a couple of days ago because we're close anyway. And
Mhm.
so, and I said, just sometime we've got to trust those who are trustworthy, and just kind of understand that we're doing what we're doing, and we're trying to do something that is good for the community, but we're trying to think it through. And sometimes we need help. Like when I come on a show like this, I'm reading these texts. I want to know, somebody said, and I said, "Ooh, I hadn't thought of that." Blah 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 blah. So
Mm-hmm.
we ain't trying to be all of that, but we are out here, you know, you
Right.
know, and like the Hulk pulling the shirt back and pounding it. But we don't pick at those of us who are working our little tail off for the right reasons, and we're not selling out the community and all of that. Just work with us and help us. And so I say we got let's just make 2024 that much better. We got some things that could make us better. We got a little money. Let's don't squander it. Let's
Mhm.
develop it so that it has long-term implications. Not just get that money and then do some good things till that money run out and then go
Right.
back. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
thank
You
you
hit
for
it.
having me. And I
Yeah.
surely want to say let's do this regularly, or as things go for it.
Yes, sir.
We'd love to have you back. We appreciate you coming on and taking your time, and also we hope this is the beginning of gaining some understanding and bringing some groups together, and
Mhm.
and making it more effective for us to do the things we got to do in our community for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So appreciate you very much. We're gonna go ahead and let you go, and we'll talk soon and have you back.
All
But
right.
congratulations on your announcement and your run. We're excited about the fact that you're gonna battle Pete Ricketts.
Man.
Oh man.
That's
Can't wait to get him on the stage, boy. I'm gonna whip
We
him.
need it. We need
Yeah.
it.
And
Thank you.
sweet.
of course I'll be underestimated by him and his thing. I'm just a little old dude. I don't have much money. He got $1.5 million already in his coffers. But don't forget David and Goliath.
There you
Mhm.
go.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
All right,
Whenever
brother
you're ready to
Dave.
come back, we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
I want to. So we'll do it regular. And tell Brother Cassini to call me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely put it out there. All right. Have a good one, brother. We'll see you soon.
All right. Very good. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. All right, there you go, brother Preston Love Jr. in the
Mhm.
house with some big announcements. Appreciate that. It's 9:04 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, thanks for sticking with us a little bit. I have to mention some of the events that are going on. Of course, today we talked to brother Ras Takura. Shout out to him for coming through. He's got a Friday concert tonight with Wakanda One, Shomari's band, and they're going to be performing tonight at the Culture House, 7 o'clock. Doors open at 6. So definitely check out the Friday concert and see what's going on there. I don't. Somebody asked in the chat whether or not there was a charge for this or a donation. I'm not sure, but check it out. It's usually not much, if anything, at the Culture House. They put on some great events, and also maybe I'll be seeing you Sunday at 3 o'clock over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation to check out a screening in a discussion for a movie called Cross Pollination.
Man.
We talk about that food war that Brother Ras Takura is talking about, and they actually put a film together on that. So can't wait to go check that out. I'm a film buff. Love the indie film. Love the film scene that's happening here in Omaha, and this is a encouraging news for me to go check out a independent film here at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and check in with Ras Takura and Brother Shomari. So shout out. Maybe we'll see you tonight or Sunday on those things. Thank you very much. Really appreciate everybody who is considering checking that out as well. But also, got one more thing here that we need to talk about. It is where is my flyers at here?
Man,
Here it
speaking
is.
of films,
Speaking of films, thank you. 42nd Asbury Short Film Concert. This is the 42nd year they're celebrating with us here at the Benson Theater. Is happening tonight, as a matter of fact. 7 o'clock, doors open there. If you're more of a film person, want to go check this out. Award-winning worldwide short films that are going to be showed here. The person that put this together was working for Universal Film. So big time film company. And like I said, this has been going on for 42 years and is finally coming to Omaha, coming to the Benson Theater. Go check it out, bensontheater.org. If you're so inclined, come and check out the 42nd Asbury Short Film Concert. Award-winning short films from all over the world. And it's going to be a great evening tonight, especially if you're in that realm, man. There's a lot of growth when it comes to the independent film scene here in Omaha, and we're a heavy part of it. We've had several independent films we've shown at the Benson Theater, and half of them were black folks that I didn't know were doing films. So there's a big community out here, and this is kind of one of those events that community is being built on the back of. So check it out if you're so inclined. And we appreciate that. If you want to put your fancy duds on and make a donation to the Benson Theater, then of course come out to the Bonalto Ball tomorrow. The inaugural benefit for the Benson Theater is happening tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It's the 100th anniversary of the Benson Theater building. It used to be called the Bonalto Theater when it was built back in 1923. And so on top of the 100th anniversary, we're about 2 years in. Opening back up for the Benson Theater as well. It's a celebration of everything that's been in there for the last 2 years. Very diverse shows, all kinds of different things that I've never seen before in any other in any other places in Omaha. Really, there's been so many things that, like I said, we've been breaking films, playwrights. People from our community have been inundated with ideas and things that they got going on here. So we want to make sure that we keep this open. Make a donation to the Benson Theater. Go to bensontheater.org and make a donation, or you can buy one of the $100 tickets, $100 commemorating the 100th anniversary to come through tomorrow. Put your fancy duds on and come on through. This is the season of the gala, the season of the ball. So this is our first one here, Bonalto Ball at the Benson Theater. We want to keep those doors open so that we can really open up to everybody that comes through. We already had Native American drum circles in there. We've had Day of the Dead celebrations in there. We've had major artists like K-pop. People were sleeping outside the place to get K-pop tickets. So worldwide events, also local. We've had Brother Terrace Martin come and play with us. The last show that Curly Martin ever played was at the Benson Theater. Man. We want to keep these doors open, man, so that we can really kind of make sure that happens. It is our spot. And like Amy, who runs this place, says, Benson is the north side. And we always going to keep the doors open to the north side. And that's what we're going to do here. So, yeah, come check it out. Get your Bonalto ball on. Of course, we'll have some entertainment tomorrow night as well, starting at 6 o'clock. The Novak and Hard Trio featuring Camille Matoya and Moten. So as you know, it's going to be a very classy event with some beautiful jazz music. And come and fellowship and rub some elbows, hobnob a little bit with some of the ones that are interested in keeping the Benson Theater open and helping fund, and also if it is if you're so inclined, donate to this nonprofit stage. Really appreciate it if you do so. They've done some good work. And that's about it. I'm not going to keep you too long. It's already 9:08, 9:09, if you believe in the concept of time. Thank you, everybody who's joined us. Zane says good morning, Grandpa
Dude.
Zane. That's what's up. Appreciate that. Oh, Star Wars is now dubbed in a Native American language. Interesting.
That's dope.
Interesting fact. Yeah. Appreciate everybody's comments and everybody. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Now I'm seeing Zane says hi to Uncle Paul. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you, man. And thanks for coming on in and staying with us a little bit late. But thank you for everybody's comments. Really appreciate that. Rome's Review says Vinton Street Second Fridays. That's another event that's coming up here. Second Fridays. El Castillo is showcasing the arts by Gary Brunzo, talented prison artist. Got
Nice.
it. Thank you for that. We'll be looking for that, and we'll put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. If you got a flyer for that or a event page, put that in Friends of First Sky. Definitely check it out. Vinton Street second Fridays goes off. It's one of my favorite situations here in the art world in Omaha right now too. So love Vinton Street, and that whole place is getting some good love. So appreciate that very much. Buddy, you got some words for the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. As always, big shout out to our guests for coming through, brother Ras Takura, the elder Preston Love Jr., even brother Shomari, for helping us put that together. Definitely big shout out to them. I'll make sure we get out and support, and of course, shout out to all of you in the chat for your support and engagement in the conversation. We thank you, we love you, we appreciate you as always. Mama God in the chat, remembering Veterans Day for the meals, free meals this weekend for veterans. Both my father, Papa God, and my stepfather, Mr. Lee, served in the military. So a big shout out to all the servicemen and women out there. We appreciate you. We love you, and we thank you for your service. And in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourselves over the weekend. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, take it away.
Oh, I see Zane says hello to Uncle Paul, and Buddy. That's what's up.
Yeah, the dude.
Appreciate that, man. Also appreciate all the comments that have come in too. I'm seeing some comments we didn't get to from T. Wren, from also Von Chapman, also a long comment from Brother Kasim. Definitely go back and check that out, brother. I feel you, understand where you're coming from on that. Hopefully we can do something to bridge some gaps and get some action going. And as long as everybody's willing to learn from each other, then we might be able to do that. So appreciate you very much for joining today and putting your thoughts in as well. And everybody that put their thoughts in. The new listeners today as well, thank you for coming on in. If this is your first time checking out the show, I really appreciate you checking out the show and chiming into the chat, and everybody who has done that. So thank you. And again, if you miss any parts of this show, and you can go back and watch them in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube. Check out the chat when you do. It's a really great experience to realize that a chat can work the way the chat works, where everybody's speaking with respect as if they're speaking to each other, and bringing out some good points and asking some good questions, and not just trolling. We do not like the trollers. So there you go. Also, if Friends of First Sky Omaha is where the conversation continues. It's a group page on Facebook where you can put some of the articles in that you think are important, but more importantly, start the conversation and talk about it when we're not live. That's where the conversation happens. So go join Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page, and we really appreciate that. Pop says, great show. Have a fantastic weekend. Yes, everybody, please have a fantastic weekend. I think I saw Mama God said great show too. Thank you, Mama God. Appreciate that very much. And I want to also appreciate the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Shout out to you, the chat timers, allowing us to speak with you. Thank you again for all of your contributions. Shout out to Ras Takura and Shomari Huggins. Shout out to Brother Preston Love Jr. for blessing us on the show today. And shout out to you, buddy. I know that you was riled up and fired up this morning about these cowards out here, but I hope that the show did you some good as well.
Let me get it off. Let me get it off my chest, get it out. So again, big ups to everybody helping the family with that, and hopefully we will see some civil suits.
Man, Yeah, shout out to Sherman Wells for always being boost to the roots.
Man,
Like we try to be here on season 6, and everybody else is doing the good work. We'll see you. Take care of yourself this weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you out and about, and we'll come back in Monday and continue the conversation. In the meantime, between time, take care.
peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red